Hi, I'm Dr. Scott Saint-Amour.
I'm Dr. George Raghu from RBK Pediatrics, coming to you with the RBK Anticipatory Guidance and Safety videos.
Thank you guys for spending a few more minutes with us here in anticipation of your visit with us with your 8-month-old. We just want to take some time to go over what to expect at the visit and to try and review some of the more common questions and concerns that we tend to get about the kiddos at this age. So one of the most important things that we always talk about with the infants is the feeding. Remember, getting them to grow and develop properly is one of the most important things that we do at the visit. So of course, we're going to go over all of the weight curves and the growth curves, and that is going to drive more the specific advice that we give you on your specific baby. So with the feeding at this age, we are using the mushy foods with the babies in addition to the formula and the breast milk. Always remember, at this age, the formula and the breast milk is by far the best source of hydration and nutrition for the kiddos. So we still want that to be the primary source of calories for the infants. The solid foods at this age is more for the practice and the bonding than it is for the actual nutrition. At 1 year old, that's when we transition the kids off of the formula and the breast milk and onto cow's milk. So that's the age where we start thinking about the kiddos getting their normal nutrition from the real food and not from the formula and breast milk. For now, though, we want to concentrate on that formula and breast milk. At this age, we're expecting the kids to take about 30 ounces of the formula per day still and fill in the rest with those solid foods. Because we prefer the breast milk and the formula, we advise to give them that first and then give them the little jar foods. When it comes to the new foods, everything that we're giving them is potentially a new food for them. So always keep an eye on the kiddos for any potential allergies or reactions manifesting as rashes or difficulty breathing, coughing, anything like that. Remember, we are always around at RBK. If you're concerned, have any questions, or if you're not sure if your kiddo is reacting, call us. Very easy to do.
Now, some questions that I often get asked are, how many meals a day should these babies be getting? What do you think?
That's a good question. So because we're using the breast milk and the formula for the calories primarily, we do not need the kiddos to sit for X amount of meals per day. It's fun, it's bonding, it's practice. So when it's convenient for you, I recommend the 3 times per day. They're going to be eating 3 times per day when they get to 1 year old anyway. So pick 3 times a day and go at it.
Yeah, usually I'm a little old school, so when they wake up in the morning, they could take their formula or their breast milk, more of a soothing thing. Then they could do a little breakfast, a little lunch, a little dinner, and then some formula and breast milk in the evening, more as a soothing mechanism. And then throughout the middle of the day, some more formula. You should always give the food first, because if you fill them up with formula, then they really don't eat. They won't eat as much because the belly is full. And what about juices and teas and coffee and things like that? All these weird things that you hear.
Still, nothing to drink except the breast milk and the formula, and nothing to eat except the mushy, safe foods that the kiddos can eat and swallow safely. Remember, human beings have been having babies for thousands of years. There are lots of right answers to all of these questions. The only wrong answers are the ones that harm the babies or the ones where the babies aren't growing and gaining weight appropriately.
Let's talk a little bit about what you should expect from the developmental points of view and the daily routine for a baby, Dr. Scott.
Yeah, so for the developing baby, again, human beings, and especially the infants, are creatures of habit. They love routines. They love being able to anticipate what's going to happen next, and they're very comfortable with that. So getting the kiddos to bed at night. You get a bedtime routine. You do the same things in the same order at the same time every single night. They'll recognize the routine and they'll start to fall asleep in the middle of it. Makes things nice and easy for you. The kiddos are also starting to explore around at this age. They're moving around, they're rolling around, they're picking everything up. Let them explore. It's very important for their development, their social skills, their motor skills, their communication skills. Just make sure they're staying safe. They pick everything up and put it in their mouths. Keep all of the small stuff, the dangerous stuff, the sharp stuff, the poisonous stuff, all out of reach of the kiddos. They get into everything. The kiddos' brains at this age, too, very easy to learn things, very easy to adapt. The more time you spend with them, reading, talking to them, the more they pick up and the easier it becomes for them to communicate back with you. When it comes to the screen time, the official recommendation from the American Academy of Pediatrics is 0 screen time for the infants. We do not want the infants just sitting in front of a screen watching the flashing lights. However, interactive screen time, we love. We want you sitting there with your infants, singing songs, reading books, going over letters, talking to them. That is great for the kiddos' development. So if you want to, so the tablet or the TV in those cases is perfectly fine, so long as it's interactive and so long as it's with you, you can do that as much as you want. What other safety issues do you like to talk about?
Back to the screen. So interactive means the parent is actually doing it with the baby. I've seen way too many babies in the exam room. They are so proficient on that iPhone, going through YouTube videos, and I don't know. I don't think that's very good for the brain development.
Not at all. You watch an 8-year-old swiping phones properly and it makes you wonder.
They call it a smartphone, but I think it's not so smart and it's creating problems in the future. Now, other safety issues are back to your 8 to 10-month-old is going to be more mobile, getting into things, off of things. So, the one thing that we do see is the car seats. Everybody uses a car seat. It's rear facing, so we don't have to really talk too much about that. Never put the car seat in the front of the car because of the airbags. The airbags deploy. Even if the child is in a car seat, it'll suffocate the baby. Now, you hear about people driving to the mall or something, to a store, and leaving the baby in the car just to go out for a second. That car gets very, very hot when the motor and the air conditioning is off, and the babies will, have problems with heat stroke and suffocation. Gates at the top and the bottom of the stairs. 8 to 10 months, they'll start exploring. As you said earlier, they'll climb up the stairs and then they'll see themselves and then they'll roll down the stairs. So put gates at the top and at the bottom of the stairs. They grab onto things. So if you have things on a table with a tablecloth, I promise you, they'll go and they'll grab that tablecloth and pull everything on top of them. Electrical cords. Remember, the children are teething at this point. They put everything in their mouth. I've seen cases where the child gets into an electrical cord and they start chomping on it, and they get these significant electrical burns. Mm-hmm. Never leave the baby near water by itself, not even in a bathtub or even with one of those fancy bath rings. Children tend to get out of things and get into trouble very easily when they're not supervised. You should try to keep medications and poisons away from the babies. Keep cleaning supplies locked up, because it'll amaze you how quickly kids get into these things, even in 2 seconds time, and they can really get hurt. Keep the poison control number somewhere on the refrigerator, easily accessible in case the baby gets into trouble. And if you can't find it, you can find it on the RBK website or any of the RBK business cards. And another very important thing is keep furniture away from the babies, couches and chairs, because sometimes they climb up on that. The window is there, and I've seen cases where, a little infant can fall out the window. That's why in the city they have all the window guards. Not so much in Long Island, but in the city you definitely have window guards for this very reason, safety. Now, what vaccines do we need to give at this age?
So at this age, RBK Pediatrics, we arrange our vaccination schedule so that we can give the kids a little bit of a break at this particular visit. The reason we do that for this visit, though, is New York State requires that every infant at this age have their blood counts checked for a reflection of the iron level and a reflection of the lead level. That's done by a finger prick. And we do that in the office. We get the results back in just a couple of minutes, though. So, we will be doing that at this appointment and letting you know the results of that. But unless we need to catch up on vaccinations, there are no scheduled vaccinations that we give at this particular visit.
We may use this visit to catch up on any cases, because nobody's perfect, of, if you're missing a vaccine, we'll catch you up on that vaccine, or we'll give you the initial flu vaccine or the flu booster at this time, depending on the season. And the flu vaccine is very important because right now we're seeing a lot of cases of the flu And unfortunately, every single case that I see of the flu generally did not get his flu vaccine yet.
Very important. And, research is constantly coming out showing and proving again that every time somebody gets a flu shot, it increases the effectiveness of all of the past flu shots that we've gotten, and it will increase the effectiveness of all future flu shots that we'll get. The flu shot is safe, it is effective. We highly recommend it for all kiddos. Always remember, too, the very first year that we give kids their flu shot, we like to give them 2 doses of it, 1 month apart from each other. Again, we found that second dose increases the effectiveness of the first dose, but it'll also increase the effectiveness of all future flu shots that they'll get. If you have any questions about the flu shot and any of its risks and benefits, we're more than happy to talk about it with you. You just have to ask. Thank you guys once again for spending some time with us. Hopefully you learned something here. We're looking forward to seeing you for your appointment. Please come armed with any questions or concerns that you have. And remember, we are always around. You are never alone.
Have a good day.
Bye.